Today, I'm building an AI-assisted online shop app with Jetpack Compose. And instead of only showing the final screens, we'll break down the real structure behind it. One reusable UI component, the MockData flow, and a few cleanup decisions that make the project easier to extend. Here is the final ShopEase app. On the home screen, we have a search area, a promotional banner, popular categories, and a grid of new arrival product cards. The design is clean, bright, and focused on product discovery. But I don't want to spend too long on the walkthrough because this video is not only a showcase. When I tap a product, we move into the Product Details screen. This version shows a large product image, the product name, price, rating, color options, description, and a bottom Add to Cart action. Then, inside the cart, we can see selected items, quantity controls, item prices, and an order summary. And finally, the Categories screen gives the app a more complete shopping flow, with image-based category cards like electronics, fashion, home, beauty, sports, and toys. Now let's open Android Studio, because the important part is not just what the app looks like. The important part is how the project is organized. This project uses Android Studio, Kotlin, Jetpack Compose, Material 3, and a simple MVVM style structure. I used Claude Sonnet inside Cursor to help build and organize the project, but I still want to be very clear about the accuracy here. This version uses MockData. Firebase is not implemented in this video. There is no payment system, no authentication flow, and no real backend connection in this version. The structure can be extended later with Firebase, Room, a REST API, or a custom backend. But today, the focus is the Compose UI and the project structure. Let's start with the package tree. Under the main source package, the project is divided into a few important areas. The data package contains the models and the mock catalog. The navigation package defines the destinations and the screen flow. The UI package contains the reusable components, the feature screens, and the theme. This separation is important because it keeps the project easier to read. If all the screens, product data, cart logic, and theme code are placed in one large file, the project becomes difficult to explain and difficult to modify. Inside the data area, we have models for things like products, categories, banners, cart items, and profile information. We also have MockData. This is the current source of the product catalog, category list, banners, and other sample content used by the UI. I will only show a small part of that file, because the goal is not to give away the full data file line by line. The goal is to understand the pattern. Inside navigation, we have the app destinations, including screens like Home, Categories, Cart, Profile, Product Details, and Category Products. This is what lets the app move from a product card into a detail screen, or from a category into a filtered product list. In a Compose project, keeping navigation separate from the UI details makes the screen flow much easier to follow. Inside the UI package, the project is split between components, screens, and theme. Components are reusable UI pieces. Screens are full feature areas like home, cart, categories, and product details. Theme contains the Material 3 colors, typography, and styling setup. This is the part I want learners to pay attention to. The project is not only a set of nice screens, it has a structure that can be studied and extended. Now let's look at the first tutorial segment, a reusable product card component. On the home screen, the product cards are repeated in the New Arrivals grid. Each card needs to show a product image, a rating badge, a favorite icon, the product title, the price, and an add button. A common beginner mistake is to build this entire card directly inside the home screen and then copy it every time another list needs the same UI. That works for a quick test, but it becomes messy as soon as the app grows. So the better pattern is to separate the card into its own component, like ProductCard KT. The component receives the product information from outside, and it exposes simple actions through callbacks. For example, one callback can open the product details screen. Another callback can toggle the favorite state. Another one can add the product to the cart. The important idea is that the card displays UI, but it does not need to own the main business logic. It should not decide how the cart is stored. It should not decide how navigation is managed. It should receive the data it needs, show the layout, and report user actions back to the parent screen or view model. This is a useful compose pattern because it keeps the component reusable. The same product card can appear on the home screen, inside a category product list, or in a recommendation section later. You can change the visual style in one place without rewriting the same card layout across multiple screens. For the code on screen, I would only show the function signature, the main parameters, the image area, the title and price section, and the callbacks for favorite and add to cart. I would not show every modifier, every spacing value, or the full image mapping. That level of detail is better kept inside the project files. For the free video, the valuable part is the pattern, reusable component, clear input data, and callbacks for user actions. Now let's move to the second tutorial segment, data flow and UiState. In this version, the basic flow is MockData, then ViewModel, then UiState, then the compose screen. So instead of the home screen directly owning all the product lists and categories, the ViewModel prepares the screen data and exposes it as a state object. The screen observes that state and renders the UI. This separation is important. A compose screen should focus on displaying the current state and sending user events upward. It should not become the place where you hide all the app logic. When the data is prepared in a ViewModel, the screen becomes easier to test, easier to replace, and easier to connect to a real data source later. For example, today the HomeViewModel can read banners, categories, and products from MockData. Later, this could be replaced with a repository that loads the same type of data from Firebase, Room, an API, or another backend. The UI does not need to know all of those details. It only needs a state object that says what should be displayed. This is why I like using a simple UiState file for each major screen. It makes the screen contract more visible. If the home screen needs banners, categories, products, loading state, or error state, those pieces can be represented in the UiState. The screen then becomes a function of that state. The cart flow follows the same idea, but it also shows why shared state matters. When the user taps Add to Cart from the product details screen, that action should update one cart state. The cart screen should show the updated items, and the bottom navigation badge should also reflect the same cart count. If each screen creates its own cart data separately, the UI can become out of sync. One screen may show one item count, while another screen shows something else. So in this project, the cart state is handled through a shared cart view controller at the app level. This makes the cart screen, product details, and bottom navigation work from the same source of truth. For a beginner, this is an important concept. The cart is not just a visual list. It is shared application state. Now let's talk about a few developer improvements in this version. I will not call these confirmed AI fixes because not every improvement came from one specific AI correction. It is better to think of them as developer cleanup and project organization decisions. The first improvement is keeping the MockData boundary clear. Because this is an online shop UI, it is easy for viewers to assume that the app has a full backend. It does not. So I keep the explanation honest. This version uses local MockData, and the data layer can be replaced later. That gives learners a clean place to start without pretending the project already has Firebase, authentication, or payment features. The second improvement is the shared cart state. From a visual perspective, the cart screen looks simple: item rows, quantity controls, and an order summary. But from a development perspective, the important part is keeping that state consistent. When the product details screen adds an item, the cart screen and bottom navigation should update from the same state. That is why the CartViewModel is more important than just the cart screen layout. The third improvement is separating screens, components, navigation, data, and theme. This may sound basic, but it matters a lot for a tutorial project. Learners should be able to open the project and understand where things belong. Product cards belong in components. Full feature pages belong in screens. Routes belong in navigation. Sample product lists belong in data. Colors and typography belong in theme. That organization makes the project easier to study and easier to modify. I also want to mention the AI-assisted workflow accurately. I used Claude Sonnet inside Cursor, not the Claude app by itself. The useful part of AI here is not that it replaces the developer. It helps move faster with structure, UI implementation, and cleanup suggestions. But the developer still needs to check the architecture, remove repeated ideas, keep the claims accurate, and decide what should be shown in a public tutorial. For members, the complete package includes the source code, AI prompts, Design MD, assets, and README. Level 2 can also include design files, advanced AI tool rules, and build steps if available. The idea is simple. The public video teaches the structure and the patterns, and members can download the complete project package if they want to study the full implementation or run it locally. Let's look at the final result one more time. We have the home screen with product discovery, the categories screen with image-based category cards, the product detail screen with the add to cart action, and the cart screen with quantity controls and order summary. The app is still MockData based, but the structure gives us a clear path for future extension. So, the main lesson from this project is not only how to make a shopping UI look good. The real lesson is how to organize a Jetpack Compose project around reusable components, clear navigation, UiState, and a mock data flow that can later be replaced. If this breakdown helped you, subscribe for more Android Studio and Jetpack Compose projects. You can join the membership for the complete project package, and leave a comment with the next app idea you want me to build.